I am really glad that there are weekends. I just have to get out of my head the idea that Fridays are going to be more relaxing. I purposefully left uh, Fridays more open, like as far as school subjects go. There's not as much that the kids need to get done on Fridays. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be like more restful. It means that I have created space to tie up loose ends and get other things done that I need to get done, whether it's around the house or it's finishing a project or it's helping my oldest with homework, or maybe it's giving my younger kids just a little bit more attention. And so it's going to help me, I think, now to get that mental shift, to make that mental shift that Fridays aren't going to be more restful. They're going to be there for me to get things finished. And I think realizing that is going to help me not be grumpy on Friday, but push through Friday more cheerfully. So, yeah, there is a few adjustments that need to be made. Uh, Things happen, like halfway through the second week, my middle oldest, my fifth and third grader, lost their school schedules, or I misplaced them. I don't know. And so I was reminded we've been doing the school schedule or like handheld checklists for each student. I think this is our third year of doing that. No, this is our fourth year of doing that. And where they're responsible for checking off the things that they need to do for school each day. And so I was reminded how much we depend on those for things to run smoothly. And so I don't know why I didn't just sit down on Wednesday and print out another copy for each of them. I guess I was just thinking like, oh, they'll know what to do. It's fine. We'll make it through the rest of the week. And we did, but it was rough because they're coming back to me over and over saying, okay, what else do I need to do, Mom? What do I need to do next? And where I'm asking them, what have you done? What haven't you done? And normally I can just look at their checklist or they can go look at their checklist, and it just removes a lot of the noise and the mental drain, right? As I'm sure any other homeschooling moms or moms in general or teachers, they know that if there's so many people around trying to talk to you at once, it's pretty mentally draining, even though you're pretty good at multitasking. You can't actually have uh, these conversations going on all at once constantly. Or at least you can't be available to talk to all the children as much as they want to talk to you. And so you have to kind of try to eliminate any unnecessary uh, conversation. And not because you don't want to talk to them, but because there are more critical conversations you want to take time on. Especially conversations that revolve around um, behavior or discipline or coaching. If you are spending all your time talking to the kid about a to-do list, you're going to not say the other things that need to be said, like, I appreciate the fact that you cleaned up those pencils that spilled. That was really kind of you. Or next time, can you correct your little brother in a tone that sounds like this, and things that are going to shape their character, because you're just talking to them about, have you finished your spelling? Have you not finished your spelling? Did you put your spelling book away? And so this kind of brings me to another point, similar but different. So checklists are awesome. I highly recommend them. And kids really like the checklists. They really like that they can just mark off things. I'll let them go at it because we print out a new one each week. So if they want to scribble it out, if they want to tear off each layer as they are finishing, if they want to color code it as they're finishing, whatever. I have different personalities, do it different ways. And so my other point is that if you, as the mom, the homeschool teacher can withhold any excess reminders or nagging or asking. Again, for the same reason I mentioned earlier, you don't want to spend your voice, your time, your energy on these little back and forth. Um, you want to focus on those critical conversations. And how you do that is you actually have to hold back from being like, hey, did you remember, to grab your ruler? Um, did you make, well, I mean, at the beginning of the day, I'm tempted to be like asking them a follow up for every task. Did you make your bed? Oh, did you also put your pajamas away? Have you started your chores? Are you going to do math next? And the problem with this kind of constant, constant check in is that your kids learn to depend on you rather than be independent. And so you might not realize that you think you're helping them, reminding them, encouraging them, when you're actually teaching them to lean on you for everything. And so that just takes some self restraint. Um, and the different ages, this comes across differently. So my three oldest, they could definitely go through almost the entire morning without my help, without my reminding them or talking to them about their to-do lists. Especially if I prepped them the evening before and I say, hey guys, tomorrow, I'm going to be focusing on the little kids, or I don't even have to say why. Tomorrow, your job is to get through the morning without my help. I need you to take responsibility to do your chores and your school and get done the things you know that you're supposed to do. And if I just say that to them, then they'll do it. They'll do it. And that's because we've practiced this over time, right? They know what I expect. I've written it down. I've talked to them in the past. And so now it's kind of like I've trained them. Now, the hard part is for me to actually pull back. So I'm going to work on kind of those three shifts next week, having a better mindset about Friday and printing out new checklists if the kids lose them. I think we're going to probably tape them up or put them on a clipboard or give them a home. I think what had happened earlier in the week is that they had brought their checklists to the breakfast table, and then breakfast tables got cleared, and so they got put somewhere. Anyway, and then I'm going to try to pull back from nagging, especially my older children. Like, they can do it, and then I can focus on other areas. So, yeah, I'm excited for week 3. I do need to get to bed a little bit earlier on over the weekend so I can get a little extra sleep. And yeah, I'm also really proud of the fact that I got the technology all set up, especially for my oldest. It could be a lot, especially for us. It was a lot because it was a new setup. Having the internet safety, having the passwords all figured out, and like what things can I hand over to my son and what things do I need to maintain control of. Like, in order for him to have an account on this, with this school, like he had to have an email, he had to have um and then for me to have the parental controls on things, I had to figure out like which email would be the best. And anyway, it was just a learning curve, and I don't mind doing that at all. I find tech stuff, um learning all of that actually pretty interesting. And so as long as I have the time available to focus on it, it thankfully all worked out. And so that was really nice to have the first 2 weeks go smoothly. There was one hiccup, which was my fault because a lot of his homework actually has to be, scanned and uploaded and sent in. And so I helped him learn how to do that. Everything has to be converted to a PDF. Sounds complicated. It's not, but I made the mistake of only uploading one page and somehow I must have just not like transferred the JPEGs into the documents. And anyway, I'm getting like way too into detail here. But yeah, I think it's gonna work out, and I'm happy about that. The weather also right now has been so nice, and so the kids have gotten outside, they've gotten to run around in the trees, and they were all like doing yard work last night together. I had my oldest mowing and my other one doing the weed whacker, and the other ones were picking up sticks and putting them into the burn pile. And the two youngest were playing in the cozy coop. It was so cute. And so I just love this feeling of starting school, and it's getting cooler. And we're going to transition into the fall in a few weeks, and I'm just really looking forward to it. So, what are you enjoying? What are you looking forward to? Maybe you can share in the comments if you're watch this video. And what else has been really good this week? Well, so we had 2 weeks of piano lessons. I actually had my mother-in-law come over once. I'm having her come over once a week just to hold me accountable to teaching the kids piano. So basically, she's coming to play with the younger kids while I do the piano lessons with my older kids. And it's the one thing, teaching piano is one of those things that I don't know why I really see the value in music. I see the value in learning piano. I play piano, and I really want to pass that on to my kids. And so, but for some reason, it's the one subject that always gets like knocked off the dock. And I'm like, can't understand it. So finally, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to quit like trying to force it, and I'm going to um, get some accountability here. And so my mother-in-law was very gracious and is going to has agreed to come over. And so we had the 2 weeks of piano lessons, and I know it's just two piano lessons. Well, so it's lessons, right? For a week. But I did it. I sat down and I taught them, and we got through it, and it was just like exactly what I needed. And and that's why I would give yourself grace sometimes, because sometimes we don't know exactly what it is that we need. Um and I finally, like, over the summer, I talked to my husband. I'm like, listen, we could sign them up for piano lessons, but I can teach piano, so why am I not doing it? And I was like, well, I've tried in the past. I've told the kids, okay, Monday morning or whatever, we're going to do lessons, and that it's just not happening. And so he was like, well, why don't you ask my mom if she'll come and play with the kids, so that you can really just carve out that concrete time for that. And it's not up to you, but like to sit the kids down or get yourself into the music room. This is the music room, by the way. I can show you guys the piano in a minute. It is a humble little piano. I can't wait until we get, I guess, to the house that we're gonna be in forever, our forever house, or a more permanent house, so that we can buy a real piano. But this piano works. We love it, and it's an electric keyboard. All of the kids actually really like all the little knobs and music, and like built-in songs and things that they can play with. At first, I thought it was going to totally distract them from piano, but it's turned out to be just kind of like this um, simple way that the kids have been introduced to a lot of traditional songs. So like there's some folk songs on there. There's Furlise. There's I don't know. Uh, I've been working on the railroad, or on top of Old Smoky, or whatever. And so it's nice because I rarely going to sit down and like turn those songs on for them, but now they recognize them. And a lot of them do come up in their piano books, and so they can be like, oh, I know this one. And my oldest, he knows how to like record music and do all this stuff, and so he'll get on there and he'll like record record his song and try to like match it up to the songs that are on the piano, and which is that kind of thing, like just really good music exercise, um, ear training. And so it's turned out to be just fine. But I grew up with a big upright piano that my mom got at an antique. What do you call those? Antique, not antique store, an auction. She got it at an auction. And so I miss that kind of big, real ivory keys and stuff. But I hear that they make some of the new keyboards pretty cool. Like, I don't know how advanced this one is compared to some of the other ones, but Anyway, when the day comes, we'll shop. It'll be fun. But until then, this is it. And I'm really glad that my 5-year-old, he really wants to do piano lessons, even though they're about 5-minute piano lessons. But it's just making him excited about just being a part of what the big kids are doing. Um, he's right at that age, so kindergarten, where he he wants everything to be fun or doesn't want to do it, but he's rising to the occasion of a little bit of a challenge, and I'm so excited about that because by last year he was just not ready, even though he's an older kindergartner, so he would have been, but he was just not ready for the handwriting and for trying to read. And even now, he kind of pretends he doesn't like to read, but when we sit down and start doing it, he loves it. And so, you just have to kind of keep trying and sensing where they're at without increasing their dislike of a subject. So he's a bit more he's a very charismatic kiddo, and so he likes to embellish, exaggerate his emotions. And so he'll let me know really quick, at least what he thinks he's feeling. That makes sense. Yeah. So they're very cute, very fun. My preschooler, she has her one book and her little book bin and her set of washable markers. And so she just sits down next to me and just colors. She's at that stage where she really colors in the lines, but like the coloring book page is going to be drenched in ink, and probably there'll be like a hole through the page, because she's just still coloring. Like, we're not done yet, we're just gonna keep on going. Anyway, last year she went to town with coloring on my walls, and I think one of my other sons did as well. And so this year I was like, we are only going to have pencils, and like every time they're not being used, they're going to be put up high. I'm going to have my grading pens like just in one spot up high, and then the only other thing that's allowed to be down are the Crayola washable markers, and that's it. And like, I feel bad because no, we can't have like colored pencils and the fancy markers and the pastels and whatever else they use, all available to my other kids. You just have to do it like at nap time, and it has to get put away, and if it's not put away, they're gonna go away for a while. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's been a goal of mine, is to we did paint some of the walls and to keep them art free. So, if you know what I mean. Yeah, well, I guess I'm going to wrap it up. I'm not sure what else I wanted to talk about, except that's the summary of the last couple weeks. It's been pretty good, a little bit rocky. I'm a little bit tired, but we did it. And so keep it up, keep going, and stay tuned. Come on back if you want to hear an update from me next week. I'm going to try and do one of these a week. See my previous video that I made if you tips that might help you reduce the stress in addition to the things that I mentioned today. I think that's one of the big key things to succeeding as a homeschool family is, how can I do this, Mom, without getting overwhelmed, without getting burnt out? And a lot of that comes down to some of the routines and tasks um, that you repeat over and over, the kind of mundane things, such as who sets the table. Every day I have one child, their job is to set the table, and I've made that a permanent setup, and so I never have to think about that again. And same thing with like the curriculum. A lot of times it's just better to stick with the curriculum that you have for the sake of sanity. Um, I mean, if something's really just not working, then you got to change it up. But the other thing is like if they're doing it and they're doing it well, grammar is an example. There's a lot of cool grammar programs out there, but the one that they're doing right, if one of my kids ends up being, um, I don't know, a teacher or an editor or something, they're gonna relearn whatever it is that they need to relearn. But I'm giving them the foundation. Um, for a while I was thinking about that with Spanish. I was like, oh, I really am completely failing at teaching my kids Spanish because like they're not actually having conversations yet. And then I said, no, you know what? It's okay if I'm just using these little Spanish workbooks, and I'm doing, as much as I can. I'm building at least somewhat of a foundation. And I have one son who probably will continue to learn Spanish. He's picking it up very very quickly, and he really loves it. And so I know that in the future I'm going to revisit that subject and get him the resources that he needs. But do I really need to reassess everything right now this year? I mean, hopefully you did some evaluating over the summer, but like, no, I don't need to get a new curriculum just because maybe it's not the best one. Um, so do think as you change up these patterns, um, how much am I contributing to kind of like my own stress or my own chaos? Um, I am kind of a high change person, and so I do like to mix it up. And I've had to learn a little bit the hard way, that if you just crumple it up, and throw away the plan, come up with a new plan, you're going to end up perhaps contributing to a lot of the stress down the road. So you just got to be prudent. And anyway, I'm going to hop off and talk to you all later. Have a great week and God bless. Bye.